Have you ever felt like you're in a constant battle with your emotions? Whether it's a challenging day at work, a thoughtless remark from someone, or a vague sense of anxiety about the future, it can all easily bring you down. All of it can easily drag you down, leaving you feeling drained, irritable, or sinking deep into worry. We live in a world where emotional shocks seem to surround us everywhere. Work pressure, social media's imposed standards, and the economy's uncertainty all contribute to this. It often seems like external factors are trying to control our mood and reactions. We find ourselves ensnared in a vicious cycle of fretting over uncontrollable issues, leading to a constant draining of our inner strength. But what if I told you there's a path to build a strong fortress within yourself? A place where the external storms of emotion can hardly penetrate. A path that doesn't require you to change the whole world, but simply to master your inner kingdom. Welcome to Stoic Way with Alaric. I'm Alaric, and today we're going to explore 10 invaluable habits distilled from the ancient wisdom of great Stoic philosophers to help you forge a steel spirit and a resilient heart. These aren't secrets to avoiding negative emotions, but rather ways to face, understand, and navigate them wisely. If you crave calmness amidst the chaos, want to react to challenges with composure instead of panic, and build a solid foundation of mental strength, then you are in the right place. Let's explore 10 habits that will help you thrive in tough times. Your mind often floods with thoughts every morning when you wake up. The to-do list, upcoming meetings, the news you just read. But how many of those thoughts actually fall within the scope of what you can influence? And how many are about things you completely cannot control, yet they consume all your energy and cause unnecessary anxiety? This is the crucial point emphasized by Stoic philosophy, known as the dichotomy of control. Epictetus was originally a slave, but became a brilliant philosopher. Taught that only a few things are within our control, namely our thoughts, judgments, desires, aversions, and our actions. Everything else, our bodies, possessions, reputation, other people, and external events, is completely outside our absolute control. When we confuse these two groups, when we try to control things that are inherently uncontrollable, we will inevitably suffer disappointment, anxiety, and distress. Conversely, when we focus our energy on what is within our control, that is, our reactions, attitude, and personal effort, we find true peace and strength. Think about it. You can't control traffic, but you can control your reaction to it. Getting angry or calmly listening to a podcast. You can't control whether your boss agrees with your proposal, but you can control how thoroughly you prepare it and how you present it with what attitude. Even when facing an illness, you don't control the illness itself, but you control how you face it. Gather information, follow the treatment plan, and maintain your spirit. Practicing this habit is simple and can start right now. Every morning, spend a few minutes asking yourself, today, what is within my control? List, mentally or on paper, the things you can directly influence: your work attitude, your preparation for a meeting, how you treat others, your effort in your tasks, and how you react to the news. When facing difficulties, anxiety, pause and ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, gently accept it. Acknowledging the truth is the first step to freeing yourself from the burden of trying to change the unchangeable. Then, focus on what you can do. Control your reaction, seek solutions, and learn. This doesn't mean you become indifferent or ignore the outside world. It means you don't let things outside your control dictate your emotions and your inner peace. You free yourself from the burden of things you cannot change and channel your energy into what truly makes a difference in your life, your own person, your growth, and how you choose to live each day. As this habit takes root, you'll find yourself less frustrated by small annoyances, less anxious about an uncertain future, and with a much stronger sense of mastery over your life. You'll know that no matter what happens, you always have the power to choose your response. That is the foundation of lasting emotional strength in the way Stoicism has taught for thousands of years. Have you ever said something in anger or made a hasty decision out of fear and then immediately regretted it? I'm sure all of us have experienced this. In those heated moments, when emotions surge, we often act instinctively, reacting impulsively without taking time to think about the consequences. Reason seems to get disconnected, turning us into reactive machines instead of rational beings capable of choice. The second habit for building emotional strength is an incredibly crucial skill, a small but powerful secret, practicing the inner pause. This is about ignoring or suppressing emotions. It's a very brief moment of stillness, just a few seconds, right before you allow your emotions to erupt and control your actions or words. Instead of automatically reacting to anger, sadness, or disappointment, you create a small space for yourself to choose how to respond consciously. Epictetus, who deeply understood where suffering comes from, said a very famous line that we should engrave in our minds. It's not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of those events. This highlights that our emotional reactions are not 100% automatic. Between an event happening and our reaction, there is a small gap, a precious moment where we can intervene, where reason has a chance to speak up. The inner pause is about recognizing, expanding, and utilizing that powerful gap. How to practice the inner pause in daily life. When you feel negative emotions starting to rise, such as impatience while waiting, feeling your face flush when criticized, or the urge to constantly check your phone when exhaustion yourself to stop for a moment. Recognize physical signals. Pay attention to the physical signs of emotion. Faster heart rate, tense muscles, and rapid breathing. Recognizing these cues helps you know when the pause is needed. Take a deep breath. This simple action is an effective physical anchor, helping to instantly disconnect the link between the surging emotion and the reactive impulse. It brings you back to the present moment. Count slowly in your head. Count from 1 to 5, 10, or even 20, depending on the intensity of the emotion. Physically step back, if possible. Simply slow down your pace, or move a few steps away from the uncomfortable situation if circumstances allow. This incredibly short pause is the bridge between instinctive emotion and conscious response. It allows the prefrontal cortex, the brain center for reason and decision-making, to catch up and assess the situation before the limbic system, the part processing emotions, takes full control. It doesn't mean you suppress emotions to the point of becoming numb. You still feel the anger, sadness, or anxiety, but you don't let it blindly drive your actions, leading to words or deeds you'll later regret. Try applying this in a specific situation. You receive an email that upsets you greatly. Instead of typing an angry reply immediately, practice the inner pause. Stand up, walk a few steps, take a few deep breaths, or simply close your eyes for 5 seconds. That small pause gives you time to ask yourself, what am I truly feeling right now? What is the most constructive response in this situation? Will sending this email now serve my long-term goals? Practicing the inner pause is like training a mental muscle. It might be difficult at first. You'll still react according to old habits sometimes. But the more consistently you practice, the better you become. at recognizing the moment before the storm and intentionally creating that pause, your emotional self-mastery will significantly increase. When you master the inner pause, you are no longer a victim of impulses or fleeting emotions. You become the calm captain steering the ship of your own reactions, even in the most turbulent emotional storms. This is a key step to move from instinctive reaction to conscious, wise response that aligns with the Stoic values you strive for. In life, what do you find most difficult to face? Failure, criticism, or perhaps your own shortcomings? Very often, the hurt doesn't come from the external world, but from our dishonesty with ourselves. We build defensive walls and wear masks to hide the things we fear others and ourselves might see, our fears, insecurities, and the mistakes we've made. The third habit for building emotional strength, according to Stoic philosophy, is a cornerstone of wisdom. Be honest with yourself. Dare to accept the truth about who you are without shame or guilt. The Stoic philosophers understood that you cannot improve or master yourself if you don't truly know who you are. Avoiding the truth about yourself is like trying to navigate a ship without knowing which way the compass is pointing. Being honest with yourself is not about self-deprecation or negative self-criticism. It is a calm acceptance of reality. It means acknowledging the emotions you are experiencing, even if it's envy, fear, or anger. Facing the mistakes you have made instead of making excuses. Clearly recognizing the weaknesses that need improvement. And also the strengths that we often humbly overlook. Why is this difficult? Because it requires vulnerability. We fear the pain of confronting the less than perfect truth. We fear losing the flawless image we've tried to build. But it is precisely in that moment of facing the truth that real strength is born. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wrote about the importance of daily self-examination and reflection. It's a way to continuously peel back layers of illusion and get closer to our true selves. When you are honest with yourself, you stop wasting energy, maintaining facades, or living in denial. You free yourself from the burden of having to pretend to be perfect. Such freedom brings deep inner peace and genuine self-confidence. Confidence not based on external validation, but on self-knowledge and self-acceptance. Practicing self-honesty can start with small steps. Make time for stillness. Each day, take a few quiet moments to listen to your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Journaling is an excellent tool for this. Ask yourself tough questions. Instead of avoiding, dare to ask, what am I afraid to face right now? How have I contributed to this problem? Which of my values am I neglecting? Accept imperfection. Understand that making mistakes is part of the learning process. Instead of hiding from them, see them as opportunities for growth. Being honest with yourself is a continuous journey, sometimes painful, but it is the only path to building a solid emotional foundation and a resilient character, according to the Stoic spirit. Only when you dare to look directly at the truth about yourself, with all its cracks and imperfections, can you truly become strong and free. Modern life's hustle often sweeps us away like a whirlwind. We wake up, rush into work, deal with countless things, come home exhausted in the evening, and scroll on our phones until we fall asleep. We constantly push ourselves forward, but rarely stop to look back at the path we've traveled during the day. The fourth habit to reflect on daily events is essentially carrying a mirror for your life. Stoic philosophers, especially Emperor Marcus Aurelius, considered daily reflection an indispensable part of the journey of self-improvement. In his famous Meditations, he often recorded observations about his own actions, reactions, and thoughts throughout the day, asking himself if he acted in accordance with ethical values. Why is reflection so important in building emotional strength? Firstly, it enhances self-awareness. We often act out of habit or emotional impulse without truly understanding why. By taking time to reflect, we can step back and observe ourselves from an outside perspective. Why did I react angrily in that meeting? What did I receive that message? Were my actions today consistent with what I believe? This helps identify behavioral patterns, both positive and less helpful. Secondly, reflection is a process of learning from experience. Every day is a lesson. By looking back, we discern what worked and what didn't. Did I handle that difficult situation wisely? What could I do differently next time? Did I miss an opportunity to practice patience or compassion? Reflection is not about dwelling on mistakes. Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept human imperfection. The purpose is to understand ourselves better so that tomorrow we can make more conscious choices, aligned with the person we aspire to be, more resilient and wise Stoic. The practice is very flexible. End of the day. Dedicate 5 to 10 minutes before bed. You can sit quietly, take a slow walk, or write in a journal. Content of reflection. Ask yourself, were there any notable events or interactions today? And how did I react? Why? Did I act in accordance with my values, wisdom, justice, courage, temperance? What did I learn about myself or the world? End of ham. Disnoter. How did I learn about myself or the world? Acknowledge the positive too. Don't just focus on mistakes. Note the times you acted well, maintained composure, helped someone, or learned something new. This reinforces good habits and helps you see your progress. Carrying this mirror of reflection each day helps you constantly adjust your inner compass. You become more attuned to your emotions, behaviors, and motivations. Emotional strength is built incrementally by understanding weaknesses to improve and reinforcing strengths. Daily reflection is the shortest path from experience to wisdom. We often learn to constantly crave more in the turbulence of life. More money, greater success, wider recognition. Our minds can easily become fixated on what's missing, concentrating on the things we lack and the goals we haven't yet accomplished. It's this focus on lack that fuels dissatisfaction and erodes our emotional strength. The fifth habit, a precious stone in Stoic philosophy, is practice daily. Gratitude. Actively acknowledge and appreciate what you already have. Stoicism teaches us to find contentment not by accumulating more, but by appreciating the present and what is already here. Seneca said, "The poor man craves more, not the man who has too little." Gratitude is the way to recognize our true wealth in this very moment. Why is gratitude a key to emotional strength? Firstly, gratitude shifts your mind's focus from scarcity to abundance. Instead of constantly looking at the half-empty glass, you learn to appreciate the half-full glass. This shift not only fosters fleeting positive emotions, but also strengthens your mental resilience, enabling you to approach challenges with a more balanced perspective and recognize the positive aspects even in the face of challenges. Secondly, gratitude helps anchor yourself in the present. Worry often looks to the future. Regret looks to the past. Gratitude brings you here and now, helping you notice the good things happening around you. Your health, even if it's just not too bad. A roof over your head, a warm meal, a meaningful relationship, or simply your breath. Stoicism doesn't encourage passivity. We still strive to improve our lives. But gratitude ensures that this striving comes from a place of sufficiency and appreciation for the present, not from a sense of lack and endless craving. It helps us find peace regardless of external circumstances. Practicing gratitude doesn't have to be something grand. It can be a basic daily habit. Many, Gratitude journal. Each morning or evening, write down 3 to 5 small things you are grateful for today. It could be the taste of your morning coffee, a pleasant conversation with a colleague, or successfully overcoming a small challenge. In the moment gratitude. When you are walking, be grateful for your healthy legs. When eating, be grateful for the person who prepared the meal. When talking to someone, be grateful for their presence and the connection. Share your gratitude. Express sincere thanks to those around you. This strengthens relationships and multiplies the feeling of gratitude within you. Practicing gratitude is an active choice. It's a deliberate choice to focus on the positive aspects of life, even during challenging times. It helps build strong emotional resilience because it reminds you of the resources and good things you possess, helping you stand firmer against adversity. Gratitude doesn't change your circumstances, but it changes how you experience them. In life, we cannot avoid loss. It could be the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, losing a job, a shattered dream, or simply losing an opportunity that seemed certain. Loss comes in many forms and is often accompanied by painful emotions: sadness, anger, disappointment, and fear. Our natural reaction is to cling, hold on to what's past, or try to control what is already out of our hands. The sixth habit, learn the art of letting go. Accept that loss and change are an essential part of life. This is one of the core lessons that Stoic philosophy emphasizes. Stoic philosophers viewed the world as constantly moving and changing. Everything, from material possessions to relationships, is temporary. Marcus Aurelius wrote profoundly, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." While it sounds harsh, the message here is resisting change and loss is resisting the very fundamental law of the universe. When we try to hold on to what cannot be held, we tie ourselves to suffering and deplete our emotional energy. Letting go doesn't mean you no longer cherish or value what you've lost. It means you accept the reality that everything has an end, every relationship can change, and every circumstance is temporary. By letting go of clinging, you free yourself from the burden of the past, of regret, and what-ifs. Think about the things you are trying to hold on to: prolonged resentment, a relationship that ended but still haunts you, a past image of yourself, or a plan that didn't work out. Clinging to these things is like tightly holding onto a hot piece of coal. It doesn't harm what you're holding. It only burns your own hand. Letting go is an active choice. It is a conscious decision to accept reality and allow yourself to move forward. Recognize clinging. Pay attention when your mind keeps returning to what is lost or cannot be changed. Identify feelings of resistance, anger, or sadness when you think about it. Acknowledge the pain, but don't drown in it. Allow yourself to feel sadness or regret, but don't let it overwhelm you. Remind yourself that emotions are temporary. Focus on the present and what remains. No matter how great the loss, there are always things that still exist: health, lessons learned, other relationships, your capabilities. Direct your energy towards these things. See loss as an opportunity. Every ending is a beginning of something new. Loss can teach you valuable lessons, make you stronger, and open paths you never thought possible. Letting go is not a sign of weakness or failure. On the contrary, it is the pinnacle of inner strength, a courageous acceptance of life's impermanence. When you learn the art of letting go, you free yourself from unnecessary burdens, creating space for growth, peace, and the ability to embrace the new things that will come. Emotional strength comes from understanding that you don't control all endings, but you always control how you face them and move forward afterwards. In today's noisy and constantly connected world, it's easy to feel swept away in an uncontrollable current. Your inbox is full, your phone constantly vibrates with new alerts, and there are dozens of demands from work, family, friends. It seems like countless things are vying for your attention and time. As a result, we rush around dealing with urgent tasks, reacting constantly to whatever is calling us. But at the end of the day, we feel empty, exhausted, and not truly closer to what is important to us. The seventh habit, a foundation for living a purposeful life in the Stoic spirit, is to set clear priorities, know what truly matters, and direct your energy there. Stoic philosophers were masters at focusing on the essence of matters and not getting lost in trivialities. Marcus Aurelius pointed out that our disturbance often comes not from the external event itself, but from our judgment about that event and our allowing it to sidetrack us. When we lack clear priorities, everything seems equally important, and we become slaves to urgency rather than masters of our journey. Setting priorities is more than just making a to-do list. It's a process of deep self-inquiry. What truly matters to you? What are your core values? Family, integrity, growth, contribution? What are your long-term goals? In career, relationships, mental health? Which activities truly nourish you and move you closer to those values, goals? Once you have identified what is truly important, saying no to things that do not serve, those priorities becomes much easier. Such refusal is a form of inner strength, the ability to protect your time and energy from irrelevant demands, even if it might disappoint others temporarily. Stoicism teaches us that maintaining integrity and following your own path is more important than trying to please everyone. Practice setting priorities. Identify your top 1 to 3 priorities. Each day or week, choose 1 to 3 most important things you want to focus on, based on your values and goals. Plan based on priorities. Please prioritize your time and effort around these tasks first. Less important tasks can be handled later or delegated. Think before saying yes. Whenever a new request or opportunity arises, pause and ask, does this align with my top priorities? If not, consider politely declining. Review periodically. Life changes, and priorities can too. Please consider setting aside time on a monthly or quarterly basis to assess whether your priorities remain relevant. Setting clear priorities might not make your life instantly less busy, but it brings clarity and meaning. Instead of being passively carried away by the current, you take on the role of an active captain, guiding your life towards truly significant destinations. Emotional strength comes from knowing that you are investing your valuable energy where it yields lasting value and growth, instead of scattering it across countless trivial things. We spend most of our lives seeking comfort, cool air conditioning, soft mattresses, delicious food, and warm clothes. Avoiding discomfort is instinctive, but it's precisely this avoidance that makes us weaker and more vulnerable to life's real fluctuations times when we are forced to face scarcity, cold, or inconvenience. The eighth habit, a challenging but incredibly effective Stoic practice, is practicing voluntary discomfort. This involves intentionally putting yourself in uncomfortable situations in a controlled manner, not to punish yourself, but to train your spirit and reduce your fear of hardship. Stoic philosophers like Seneca often recommended this practice. Seneca suggested spending a few days each month living as simply as possible, eating plain food, wearing old clothes, and sleeping on a rough surface. The purpose was to ask himself, is this what I used to dread? And to realize that the hardships we imagine are often much worse than the reality when we face them. Practicing voluntary discomfort offers several benefits for emotional strength. Firstly, it reduces your fear of scarcity and loss. When you know you can endure the cold, you worry less about losing comfort. When you know you can eat a simple meal and still be well, you fear financial hardship less. It builds confidence that you can adapt and survive even when things are not perfect. Secondly, it increases your appreciation you have. Once you become accustomed to walking in the sun or cold, your gratitude for a comfortable car or public transport will increase significantly. After fasting for a few hours, you'll appreciate a simple meal more. Voluntary discomfort highlights the blessings we often take for granted. It's important that this practice be intentional and controlled. This is not about pushing yourself to the point of harm or danger. These are small, safe exercises to expand your comfort zone. Suggestions for practicing voluntary discomfort. Cold shower, finish. After showering with warm water, switch to cold water for 30 seconds to 1 minute. Focus on staying calm and regulating your breath. Short, intermittent fasting. Skip breakfast or have an early dinner a few days a week. Walk, bike instead of driving. Choose the less convenient option for short distances. Minor inconvenience. Turn off the AC, fan for a period. Sleep without a pillow, or wear one less layer in cool weather within safe limits. Say no to a small indulgence. Intentionally refuse a favorite dessert, or don't check your phone immediately upon waking up. By actively stepping outside your comfort zone a little each day, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you think. You build a bank of experience in overcoming difficulties, which is invaluable when facing larger, unexpected challenges. Your emotional strength is tempered like steel, becoming more flexible and resilient against any storm life might bring. Information, opinions, and demands from all sides constantly bombard our minds in this era. Social media, sensational news, work pressure, and personal worries constantly bombard our minds. There seems to be too much noise from the outside world, trying to infiltrate our minds and manipulate our emotions. This leaves us feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and struggling to maintain composure. The ninth habit, an essential skill for protecting inner peace in the Stoic spirit, is practice mental detachment. Maintain presence without being swept away by the external flow. Mental detachment here does not mean being indifferent, unemotional, or avoiding reality. It is the ability to create a healthy distance between yourself, your rational self and core values, and the temporary events, thoughts, and emotions that are happening. Referring back to Epictetus' quote that we discussed, it's not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of those events. Mental detachment is the practice of applying this principle. You know what's happening and how you feel, but you don't identify with those feelings. Instead of letting the current sweep you away, you adopt an observer's position. This is difficult because our minds tend to cling to everything. Is someone making a negative comment about you? The mind latches onto it and generates a series of negative thoughts. Scary news? Fear spreads and clings. Mental detachment is the practice of recognizing this clinging and gently releasing it. Mental detachment helps you maintain calmness and clarity, even in the most chaotic circumstances. It's like learning to surf the waves of emotion. You feel the wave, but you don't let it drown you. How to practice mental detachment. Observe thoughts and emotions. When a strong thought or emotion, focus on your breath or senses. When feeling overwhelmed, anchor yourself to the present by focusing on your breath, listening to sounds around you, or feeling the ground beneath your feet. This type of mindfulness helps pull the mind out of the thought, emotion spiral. Distinguish the event from your judgment. Remind yourself that the discomfort comes from how you judge the event, not the event itself. You can choose to change your judgment. Habit 1. Practicing mental detachment is not easy and requires consistent effort. But when you can do it, you will feel significantly lighter. You will no longer overreact to everything that happens, no longer get drawn into pointless arguments, and no longer spend hours worrying about things outside your control. You free up mental energy to focus on what truly matters. Your emotional strength is fortified by the ability to maintain inner clarity and calmness, no matter how noisy the external world becomes. Each day is a gift, a new opportunity to live, learn, and grow. However, we often tend to drift through the day without clear direction. We react to what life throws at us, follow other people's to-do lists, or simply repeat old habits. Living without a daily purpose leaves us feeling vague, unmotivated, and, at the end of the day, potentially disappointed with a sense of not having done anything truly meaningful. The 10th habit, and a powerful one for shaping your daily experience in the Stoic spirit, is to set a daily purpose-defined your why for today. This is more than just listing tasks. This is actively choosing one or a few important things to infuse meaning and direction into your day. Stoic philosophy always emphasized the importance of living intentionally, living in accordance with reason and the good nature of humanity. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, constantly reminded himself of the purpose of a human being, of the values he wanted to embody in every small action throughout the day. Setting a daily purpose brings clarity and motivation from the moment you wake up. You know where you will direct your energy and attention. This helps you resist distraction. When you have a clear purpose, you are less likely to get drawn into unproductive activities or demands that don't serve what you have chosen. Create a sense of progress and accomplishment. Even if the day is full of challenges, completing the small purpose you set will bring a sense of meaning and mastery. Connect daily actions to the bigger picture. Your daily purpose should, ideally, connect to your core values and long-term goals. Habit 7. It turns each day into a meaningful step on your life's journey. Your daily purpose doesn't have to be something grand or extraordinary. It can be very simple and focused on character building or contributing value. Suggestions for setting a daily purpose. Virtue-related purpose. Today, my purpose is to practice patience in every interaction. Or, my purpose is to face something that makes me uncomfortable with courage. Learning, growth, related purpose. My purpose is to learn one new thing related to area of interest. Or, my purpose is to spend 30 minutes reading book title. Contribution, relationship, related purpose. My purpose is to help someone with a small task. Or, my purpose is to spend quality time with loved one's name. Health, well-being related purpose. My purpose is to walk for 30 minutes and get fresh air. Or, my purpose is to meditate for 10 minutes during my lunch break. At the end of the day, when you look back and see that you have lived according to the purpose you set, even if it was a small one, you will feel a deep sense of satisfaction. You know that you haven't let the day pass meaninglessly. You have actively created value and shaped your experience. Your emotional strength is nourished by the awareness of purpose and the ability for self-direction. By setting your why for each day, you turn life into a meaningful, resilient, and full journey.